9 rounds have been completed at the FIDE Grand Swiss 2025, and we just can't decide who will come out on top. In the open section, especially, we have 4 leaders with 6.5 out of 9. We have Matthias Bluebaum, we have Alireza Firouzja, we have Anish Giri, and Vincent Keymer. In the women's section, we have a sole leader in the form of Katrina Lagno, but she is followed by 4 players who are just half a point behind her. Let's get to some interesting games and see what happened, because as the games are progressing here, as the rounds are getting, the tournament is coming closer to completion, we are seeing more and more fighting chess, because there are 2 spots for the candidates in both open and women's section, and everyone wants it. So let's first look at the game. The top board clash between Nihal Sarin and Alireza Firouzja. In this game, Nihal Sarin pushed his knight to g5, and what was very exciting to see is that if black castles, there's a sacrifice on h7 followed by queen h5 check, picking up the knight. So here Firouzja played e6, attacking the knight on g5, and Nihal very quickly put his bishop, giving up the knight, and the game was absolutely insane. Here Nihal should have gone for the check on d6 when he was better significantly, but he played f4 followed by queen e2 and then g4, trying to trap the queen, but Firouzja was up to the task. He found queen h4 and he defended like a monster here, playing actively, giving back a piece, and then eventually finding his way into this endgame, which should have been drawn, but actually Nihal went wrong and went on to lose. So very deserving victory for Firouzja, who defended brilliantly and is now one of the leaders in the tournament. In the other game, that was Vincent Keymer versus Parham Maksudlu, I have a feeling that Vincent is getting into the groove here and could very well be on a roll. He, with the black pieces, look at the creative way in which he plays. First, he pulls back the bishop, and then when Parham goes all in, he takes the pawn, and here immediately fights back with the move h6, knight f3, and now black to move. What would you do here? Boom, g5. What a move this is. Because if you take here, you take back, now the h3 pawn is attacked, and I'm pretty sure that after knight takes g5, Vincent wanted to put his knight on the e5 square, followed by rook g8 coming, or the queen moving and long castling coming in. This was quite dangerous, and in fact Parham immediately went wrong, and very soon Vincent was able to take over in the game, and he played a brilliant one here. Actually, with long castle, black was already pressing. So that meant Vincent also joined the leaders with a win against Vidit yesterday, and now this win, Vincent is slowly coming back, and this was a great win for him. The next game, which I think was a very, very big break for Anish Giri, came against his countrymate Jordan Van Forest. Recently at the Chennai Grandmasters, Anish had beaten Jordan, and here it seemed that the game would end in a draw. It would have, if Jordan would have found the move knight f3, attacking the pawn on h2, but actually he went knight c2, and it felt like a good move because you are attacking the b4 pawn, but Anish found this excellent defense, excellent move with b5, and now a check, knight c4. The bishop is attacked and the pawn is defended, but just bishop c3, very strong. And now after knight a3, otherwise I'm just coming in with my king and picking up the pawn. So he went knight a3, bishop takes pawn, knight takes b5, and it seems like the material is even, but actually the white king is rushing in, and here came the move bd4, a beautiful move by Anish to attack this pawn. It cannot be defended, and he won a pawn and went on to win this endgame to join the leaders at the top. So that's how we have 4 leaders in this tournament with 6.5 points. There's another game which was very interesting, which was that of Arjun Erigaisi, which just goes to show that how tactics can happen on the board. In this position against Samuel Savian, he went king h8 and the position was equal here. But king h8 gave Arjun the chance to go knight e5, and it was game over now, because knight takes f7 cannot be stopped, and if you go bishop g8, which I think is what Savian wanted to do, here is the tactic which was super strong. Bishop takes f7, attacking the rook here, and if you were to take the rook, then knight g6 check and you lose the queen. So that's how Arjun also managed to win and joined the players on 6 points. There are several players who are on 6, which makes this very exciting. There's Abhimanyu Mishra, who's playing the tournament of his life. He's gaining 28 elo points, 2851 performance. Then we have Arjun, Nadir Bek, Nihal Sareen, Hans Niemann, MVL, Yu Yangi. What a list of players on 6, and they can all move into the top spot here. Let's go to the women's section and see what happened there. In the women's section, I think there was this game between Bibisara and Katrina Lagno, which was the most important game of the day. It was played on the top board, and here Bibisara could have won the game if she would have played the move c3. It's totally winning. I mean, rook c6 is possible here, but then you simply go king d7 and pick up the pawn. And yes, a bit of calculation is needed here after, let's say, rook c3, knight e2, rook e3, f4, rook takes e4, but f3, and it's actually going to be a checkmate very soon with knight g3 and rook g2. So that's the reason why Bibisara would have won. But in fact, she went king f8, and Katrina Lagno just got the opportunity what she needed. She chopped the pawn here, gave a check, chopped the pawn on f5, and before you know it, it was already a draw. A lucky escape here for Lagno, who was losing right from the opening, but came back very strongly to draw this game and keep her half-point lead. The other game which was super interesting was Irina Krush getting the better of Stefanova, and here the tactics were beautiful because in this position Stefanova took on c1, rook c1, and it's an equal position. Maybe taking on b5 would have been okay, but here black went a little bit too aggressive, took the pawn, and this is where the pins began. Rook d1, first pinning the knight here. She went queen a8. Now double pinning it, bishop b7, and now came the move knight c7. A beautiful move, and takes. Queen takes e5 here, and seems like everything is equal, but not really. Bishop f7, and you win the rook, and Irina Krush went on to win. In the women's section, Katrina Lagno is the current leader with 7 points out of 9, but we have 4 players on 6.5 points. We have Vaishali, we have Bibisara Asaubaeva, Tan Zhongyi, and Yuxin Song, and all of them are just half a point away. Round number 10 will be played tomorrow, and I'm very excited for it because it could potentially tell us who are the 2 players who will reach the candidates. For now, this is Sagar Shah signing off. Bye bye.